Hey everybody, Robert Wright here, private label law attorney, and today I want to talk about how do you choose a trademark. I get this question from clients all the time. They're so excited about private label, they've taken a course, they've found a supplier, they're ready to go to market. Jungle Scout is telling you that sales are off the charts and you want to go, right? But then they hit a stumbling block. They freeze. They're like, I don't know what I want to call my brand. I don't know if I want to just want to have one brand. I don't know if I want to have a specific brand. But there are all these questions and all this analysis by paralysis or paralysis by analysis creeps in and they just don't know what to do, right? So how do you choose a brand name? How do you choose a trademark? First and foremost, the best trademark is one that is fanciful or arbitrary. You want something that is made up, okay? So if you can make up a term, that's best, right? Maybe you take the first three letters of your first name, the last three letters of your last name, you smash them together, and that's a brand name. Something like that would be outstanding, would be easily registrable, and that's going to be a good trademark, right? What you don't want to do is choose a brand name that's kind of descriptive. So if you're selling pool floats, for example, you don't want to name your brand Best Pool Floats. There is very little chance you're ever going to get that registered as a mark, and we care about securing registration of the mark because we want to get brand registry. Brand registry is going to help drive sales. It's going to help us participate in special advertising. It's going to help us protect our listings. We want to register trademark, and that all starts from ground zero, choosing your brand name. Okay, so I've just told you, come up with something fanciful, come up with something arbitrary, and that's all good. But when the rubber meets the road, it actually gets a little bit tricky, right? So one of my favorite strategies for coming up with a trademark, if you just don't like choosing some random word or making up a word, find a word that means something within a field or industry, some specific nomenclature, right? So I love baseball, right? And baseball has, great terms. Pepper, is a game that you play kind of, as you're warming up for a game, where people are hitting a ball, and you're fielding it in very close proximity. Pepper. A southpaw is a left-handed pitcher. No-hitter. Means a pitcher pitched a complete game and there were no hits. All of these, within baseball, those mean very specific things. But all of a sudden, if I take pepper out of baseball and I plop it on a pool float, that's a good brand name, right? That pepper as a brand name doesn't mean anything until you fill it up with life with the quality of your pool floats. That's a good one. Southpaw, same thing, right? Stick it out of baseball, plop it on your product. Great brand name. It has no meaning related to the brand until you fill it with meaning, right? So if you are struggling to find a trademark, try one of those strategies. Just kind of make up a word, or if you can't, go to some sort of field, niche, hobby, something that you're interested in, something that you know about, and just find peculiar sounding words, and then consider pulling those out of that niche and putting it on your brand, using it as your brand name, right? Now, as I say this is all kind of, step one in terms of choosing a brand. It's just kind of figuring out, okay, what's the short list? What are some names that I like? Please, 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 before you ever start putting a brand name on products, make sure that you clear the brand. What do I mean by clearing the brand? I mean, at a minimum, doing a Google search and seeing if there's another brand name that already exists, right? You should certainly plug that brand name into Amazon and see what pops, see if someone's already using that brand name for similar products. You can also go to uspto.gov. That's the United States Patent and Trademark Office. They have a system called TESS, right, where you can go plug in your brand name and it'll pull all of the other registered trademarks that exist. Now, those are quick and dirty ways to kind of see if a brand exists. But frankly speaking, in the way that I work with clients, I do a much more comprehensive clearance search using a third-party solution. But again, you can choose to whether or not to do that. How you do it doesn't matter as much as you doing it, right? Don't just choose a name and stick it on a product blindly. Make sure you've done at least some form of clearance, because what you don't want to do is commit trademark infringement. Like, you don't want to choose a brand name that is likely to be confused with someone else's, right? And that would cause all sort of legal liability. But from a practical perspective, you're gonna have to do a rebrand, and you're gonna have to change the relationship with your supplier to get a new logo or a new trade name on your product. You're gonna have new product photos taken with that new brand name. You're gonna have to update the Amazon listing. Maybe Amazon is gonna be easy to work with in terms of making that happen. Maybe they're gonna be more difficult, you don't know. but don't get behind the 8 ball. Don't find yourself in a corner with that. All of that can be avoided if up front you choose a fanciful or arbitrary brand name. And if all else fails, you can't do that, then use one of the strategies I talked about with the baseball strategy, if you will.